Yo, 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 yo. What it do? It is RB22, Text Ring of Fire, episode 39. We got Harry out of San Antonio, and also we got the guest, Jose Tellez, Golz. Golz TV, right? How are you
Yes,
doing, my
sir.
man?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. Thank you for having me on, man. This is I've watched this show more than a few times. It's pretty cool to be on it now. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks for watching us, bro. Yeah, whenever you reached out a while back, that was pretty cool. You know, shit definitely lit me up. So, how you doing, Harry? You're right on time today with your 1 star and 2-1, right? Before we get into it.
Hey,
You know that's
I
what
didn't
you're
bring
gonna
it
say.
up. I did not bring it up. It's a new year. We're already running super thin, but yeah, we got it. We got a good win. Refereeing was an issue, but I know that's a U.S. Well, it's a game issue. You know, if you go to the Premier League or wherever, there's always referee issues. So, but no, it's a good time. Nice, cool weather here in San Antonio. I guess supposed to get and warm up, but we'll see how that goes next week, right?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because you're up there in Dallas, right, Jose?
Yeah, bro. It's I would say it's kind of cool right now too. It feels good. I'm dreading the summer getting here, to be honest, bro. I'm not looking forward to it at all. Harry must feel it on a different level entirely. I would say both you guys probably do. Thankfully, that humidity doesn't reach too far up north. So, nah, man, we're good. I got a hoodie on. Talking footy feels great, bro.
Yeah, dude. So I want to get into a little bit of some Goals TV and a little bit of your background. I want you to tell me about Jose and what gave you the idea of Goals, man.
Yeah, for sure. No, I appreciate you giving me the spotlight too to kick the show off.
We got to, man. You know, this is your third show today, right? You said.
Well, look, we're not going to put off the Austin FC banter for too long, bro. Last two results,
yeah.
I'm going to let you have it later, but we'll get to that.
Don't worry. Take your shots when you got them, because they don't come often. They don't come often.
What do you mean it doesn't come often? You had one good year.
Club like Austin.
You had one good year, man.
Yeah, one good season, and they haven't won anything yet either, Harry. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about it.
We have 2 losses. That's
all
it.
Right.
2 losses.
Y'all are pretty loud fan base for not having won anything, but that's cool. That's cool. We'll get to it.
Let's talk about winning.
But yeah, bro. Look. I mean, how we met was actually really cool. So you mentioned Golz TV. For anybody who's listening hasn't heard of it, the website is legitimately golz.tv, GOLZ.tv. Thought of the idea, in all honesty, not a crazy long story. I selfishly watch footy content as much as I possibly can. I don't watch Netflix, Hulu, anything else. I watch nothing but footy. And as much as I would love for there to be live matches 24/7, that's not the case. So eventually the matches stop and I got to start watching other content on YouTube, on Twitch, on whatever, right? And I thought to myself early last year, how cool would it be if there was just like one destination on the internet where everything existed? All kinds of footy content, match day vlogs, podcasts, trading card content, FIFA, Football Manager, you name it, right? Like there's a massive spectrum of content out there. And I wanted to build something like that for myself. I told a couple friends about it. They thought it'd be cool if I tried to build it for the public. I'm not a technical guy. Thankfully, in my business background, I used to work at a couple of different big tech companies once upon a time. And they all the friends that I had, they all kind of thought it'd be cool. So we decided to go ahead and try putting it together. We launched it back right before the World Cup. I would never do that again in my life. Probably one of the busiest times ever to launch some shit like that. But we launched it right before the World Cup, and it's been going since November now. And we got about, 50 to 60 different content creators that bring all of their fan-made content to this platform. They want to see it become the next YouTube or Netflix of soccer content. I don't know if it'll ever be that big, but for me personally, it's just a cool project to pursue, man. I got to meet so many interesting content creators along the way. It's how you and I met. And now by extension of that, it's how Harry and I met. We're going to banter the hell out of you later. But yeah, bro, I mean, it's been really, really fun. Just like meeting other content creators, trying to build this thing. And then since then, I've always been an SC Dallas fan. I grew up playing in that youth system. So I grew up here in the Dallas, Texas area. And, so I've always had a soft spot for FC Dallas, but like doing this project has gotten me deeper into the passion I have for FC Dallas, the passion I have for the European clubs that I promote or support, which would really be, Barca, hanging their RB. It'll be Barca and Arsenal. But that's
finally having
show.
a good year.
Different day.
Having a good year.
Finally.
do you
Dude,
mean
you act like
finally?
they're Austin FC, man.
Literally the best brand of
This
football
guy.
you'll ever
We're
see.
talking
in your
about
life.
Barca.
But anyway, we'll get to that another day. But look, bro, I love this, man. I love talking footy. I love watching it. I love just bantering back and forth with other fans, bro. Nothing makes me happier. So, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it. Happy to answer more questions as they come up, man. But that's just a little bit about me and the project that I'm passionate about right now.
Yeah, for sure. How many do you have any Houston or Dallas people on Golz TV right now?
Houston, not yet. We have a couple conversations on a one-off basis. As you can imagine, right? Like everybody right now is like in season, right? We all are.
Yeah.
And
well, you see, we got a Houston guy, and he's not even here. So
he was here last episode. I remember watching it, and
yeah.
I'm still waiting for Sam to show his face, man. But
I think that's an EB thing. That's an EB thing. Yeah. So
either way, I think it's cool. This idea for this show is awesome, bro. Texas is a massive state. It's countrywide. It's one of the biggest markets, right, for soccer. Not just content, but competition. From youth setup standpoint, I know that firsthand. We were the number 2 market when I was coming up and playing, and nothing has changed. I love everything about DFW soccer, and I love the idea of this show. I think it's cool. I want to be here as often as you'll have me to talk FC Dallas stuff. And yeah, man, I'm just glad to be here.
Yes, sir. All right, man. Well, let's get into some FC Dallas. Or do you got any questions, Harry, for Jose?
No, not really any questions. But as far as the DFW area, especially with Texas, the UIL Texas high school playoffs going on, I know the Dallas, Frisco, Fort Worth area, lots of talent, especially this time of year, that showcases just how great DFW and North Texas is. So
yeah, I appreciate that, Harry. Those are kind words, man. It's a super competitive system to come in as a player. But for that reason though, like I just think that there's so much to be excited about, even though most MLS fans like to troll FC Dallas and the Dallas market as one of the legacy clubs that doesn't get as much support as Austin or anybody else. But expansion teams are loud.
We're in our honeymoon phase.
Yeah. It's like we're still in the first few seasons, man. We'll see how it goes after years and years.
Speaking of high school, what happened to the Ducks?
Man, bro. So from what my intel is that the Ducks had about 20 shots, none went in, and where'd they go? The Valley? They had like one shot. They had like one shot, and that one shot went in. So 1-0, the Ducks went down, but we'll see if they can bounce back. I'm excited because we're gonna start getting into Hutto, the middle school here, and the elementary, and then we're also gonna get into Taylor. I'm gonna try to get into Taylor. I'm trying to get all the surrounding, and they're starting to build the toll road to come all the way to Taylor now. So it's going to come to so they're building Samsung here. I don't know if you guys heard about that, but it's like a $5 billion project, and it's people from all over the country, all over the world. I imagine coming here. It's this little town I grew up in. It's about 13,000 people, and I can already see it being 50,000 people. They're just building houses, communities everywhere. But Lone Star, we have 3 fields right now. And man, dude, I can already see it, just growing this club. We're struggling so hard right now to have players. I already know in about, 2-3 years, it's going to be great. So hopefully we can be one of those markets too, for just like the DFW area with the soccer, and get these high school teams winning some playoff games, making it to state finals, and 1, 2 back-to-back, whatever, 3 times. So that's the plan, is just to grow the community, even through this Texas Ring of Fire, have fans and all that. So, yeah, man, glad to have you, bro. And
I appreciate
sorry
it,
my
man.
Ducks couldn't do it.
Hey, I will say this: small towns, small markets, even within broader markets like DFW, bro, they can be competitive. I mean, I went to a tiny high school in Red Oak. Back then, I think was barely 4A, and in 2003 we won a state title, right? And it was right before I came into that, and we had a good run of state playoff runs after that for better part of a decade. So like it just, we got lucky with some of the club players that we got, but it's really, really competitive in spots that you wouldn't guess it would be.
Yeah. So, all right, man. I guess let's break down some FC Dallas. FC Dallas, they played LAFC, went to LAFC. Well, did you watch the match?
I watched it, bro. It was heartbreaking. I was streaming, a watch along for it, and bro, 2 minutes in, the drinking started 2 minutes in. Automatically, we give up a goal really quick to Tillman, and it was our fault, 100%. We make mistakes, and this is the second game in a row where, like, I don't know if you guys watched the game. The second game in a row where FC Dallas has kind of proven that we do not know how to deal with the high press. We have no answer for it. And bro, in all honesty, I'm actually, this is not me being, on the negative Nancy train or being, super downhill with this team. I still think there's a very high ceiling for this team considering how many new transfers we have. But Ibiaga and Tafari as a center back pairing, they still look kind of rough. And when you have, even Sporting Kansas City gave us a really tough time with the high press. LAFC pounced on it in the first 2 minutes, got that goal from Tillman. And I'm surprised that we kind of survived that first 15 to 20 minutes. We almost looked better when we went down a man. It was really interesting. When Tomasi got that idiotic red card, I don't know if you guys saw it. He lifted kind of his arm up on a tackle. It was really, really weird. And it looked like he straight up bowed. I can't remember who exactly it was. But it was just a terrible red to give up, and it was 30 minutes in. Right?
That was dirty.
It was, bro. I mean, in all honesty, if I was a teammate, tsunami, Tomasi. I think, bro, I would have been upset as a teammate. Legitimately, I would have felt like that was a selfish move because there's one thing to go into a hard tackle, and it's another to raise your elbow, swing the way that he did. I would have been upset. But then what I saw after that was Dallas collapse with 10 men, collapse into a formation that allowed them to play a low block, absorb pressure really well. We looked way better absorbing the pressure with 10 men than we did with 11.
Yeah.
And then we had some counterattacks that finally started to open things up. So I would say from that perspective, defensively, growing pains right now. We're still trying to figure it out. Life without Matt Hedges is kind of tough. But I think Farfan's played pretty well. Tafari had a goal in this game, so there's something to hang your hat on a little bit. But him and Ibiaga as a pairing still are figuring things out. But then moving forward, there's the other pain point of us, FC Dallas, not having the cutting edge, the finishing touch, or the final executed pass to create legitimate goal scoring opportunities. It is my biggest gripe of this team, and considering who we have up top. Right and who's supplying them. I think we actually have a pretty good attack with Ariola.
I gotta give Cedillo. I gotta give Edwin Cedillo a shout out. My boy Marcos, the second biggest Verde Waco, because I used to live in Waco, so he's lucky I moved out, so now he can be the biggest Verde Waco. But that's his cousin. They grew up in Waco together, so that would have been cool. That was a golazo that he scored.
Yeah, they got taken back. I mean, granted, I see the ref's point and VAR's point, right? Harry mentioned earlier about refs being kind of shaky and the systems that we have being a little bit shaky right now. Like at first, I was pretty upset, but I asked myself, if the shoe was on the other foot, right? If I was the other way around, would I have been upset if that goal had gone in? Yes, because it was. The keeper had to react at the last second because his vision was blocked. It is what it is. But that would have been a badass goal, and I would say we still could have had more, even with 10 men. We countered well. It was the final cutting pass that we couldn't get. It was the final lob over the top that we couldn't get. Even when we tried to play long ball directly from our center backs into space for Ariola or into space for Velasco, it never really worked, whether it was due to the wayward passing or us not being able to get our first touch right. We just felt rattled from the first 10 to 15 minutes. And then I will say it was a great consolation to see Tafari get that goal right on the set piece, on the corner kick. It came out of nowhere. I mean, the ball kind of bounced around once or twice, and then he kind of jumped up, tapped it in. I thought we were going to steal a point. I really did. I was thinking, man, this is it, bro. We're going to steal a point. We're going to walk out of here, defending champs, walk out of here with the point on the road and bounce back, hopefully having figured out how to manage pressure early on in games. But then Boyanga, and it's amazing to me because dude, I don't know if you guys heard about this. he had just flown over, right? He went to go deal with African Cup of Nations. He went to go fly overseas to play for Gabon, and then he flew back, went to Turkey night before, came from Turkey over to LA, drove back that same night and played in the game. And it's wild to me that he went through all of that. And then I really rate Martin Boss. I think he's a good keeper. I think he was thrown off by Ibiaga.
He had a bad game. He had a bad game, man.
It was just a weird game, bro. To get scored on that early.
He gave that ball away. I mean,
he gave the ball away. Yeah,
100%.
He gave the ball away. I think the pressure threw everybody off. I think it started with Boss, but then you saw, I can't remember. I don't think it was Cerrillo, but there was a midfielder who made a mistake trying to trap it. Tafari honestly probably had time to jump in and cut the runner off, but he didn't. He hesitated. So he gave Tillman just a little bit of space to cut to his right, take it one step forward and shoot. So there was a series of mistakes. But yeah, I think Dallas was just rattled, man. And 2-1's not bad. Like, if you'd have asked me before the game started, if we lose to the defending champs 2-1 on their soil and we played halfway decent, I wouldn't be terribly upset, because I still think that Dallas needs to make that jump to be at the level of an LAFC. I think we still lack chemistry and some cohesiveness. But, like, I don't know. This one was, we could have walked out with something, and it was really disappointing that we didn't.
No, yeah. I mean, I was kind of, I don't know who to pull for. Maybe the tie, right? 1-1. That would have been probably the better option for me. But LAFC, man, they just got a freaking squad. Like you said, Boangwa, man, he's just a hell of a player, dude. What a signing.
And who scores that too? Like, near post, no angle on the damn shot. And yeah, he just shot it. And like, I don't know, man. It's just, the whole thing's weird.
No, I agree. Ferreira too. I'm not sure how he played, but he's got to get going. You know, he's got to get scoring.
I mean, so Ferreira is the top goal scorer for FC Dallas right now. I think he needs a little bit of help. I think Velasco has relied on moments of individual brilliance. You look at the game against Sporting when we got the equalizer. I mean, that shot was beautiful. And it's goals like that, right? He's got a handful of 2 goals I think this season, and they've come from like individual moments. But I would say Areola.
Talking about Boangwa.
Oh yeah, that dude's cooking, bro. He really is, man. I mean, I honestly can't even like put him down. The guy's just, he's in there. But I would say, man, for Dallas, I think, Areola needs to step up, in my opinion. I think he's literally -1 on the year. He's -1. He has the own goal against the Whitecaps, and he missed a one-on-one breakaway in that same game and has missed several other opportunities in this early part of the season. He's got a couple assists. That's cool. I respect it. You're a winger. That's kind of your job. Get the ball into goals, to create goal-scoring opportunities. But I want to see more, and especially considering that he's someone that's touted for national team call-ups, right? Everyone was, in my opinion, kind of whining when he didn't get called up to the national team, at least here in Dallas. And I kind of saw Berhalter's point a little bit. I think he's sometimes underwhelming as a player for me. Great speed, great cutting ability, finishing department, very 50-50. I just want to see more from him. And then you mentioned Ferreira, just to go back to what you asked, like what does he need to do, or should he step up? I think he's doing well. I just think I don't know if he needs to drop in more and demand more of the ball to be the facilitator, the enabler, right? Because he technically is 10. And I would say of everyone, him and maybe Velasco does the same thing. He drops back into those spaces to try and collect the ball and distribute. So I'd say those 2 guys are probably our best creative attacking mids, if you want, that are also serving as true forwards and strikers. I really want to see what Jesus Jimenez can do too. I would like to see him pair up with Ferreira, maybe Ferreira tucking back into the midfield or whatever the case may be. I don't know. That the offense needs to be built around that man 100%, but I don't think Coach Nico has figured out like the pieces just yet. I think he's still playing with things, and maybe Jimenez is still getting used to the offense. I have no idea, but we've barely seen him. I think he hasn't featured for more than 10 minutes in the game.
Yeah. My question is, and this game kind of sums up Dallas for me on the season so far, is what's kind of the identity of FC Dallas? I've watched the games, I don't go away unhappy, but I don't go away excited either. It's just like they're there. You see that it's like you're waiting for them to take that next step. And Ferreira is a prime example of it. Velasco. I can't explain why they just look average. It's probably the best way to describe it. But you can see the talent, you can see sparks, but then at other times you're just like, it's just not there.
Yeah, and Harry, I think you're 100% right. This was my gripe of the team last season. Because remember, we finished third in the regular season, right? And I thought that we would take a jump this season, as I'm sure Austin FC fans did. I thought we would take a jump this season, and we didn't, right? Like, we're still, last season we were very reliant upon individual talent, right? We weren't this like cohesive team that could make the ball work, and it had this very obvious layer of chemistry. We weren't LAFC, we weren't Austin. It was very, very evident. And that was like the next jump. I told everyone what separated 1 and 2 from the rest of the conference is just that they have the players and they have the system that brings all of the best, everything out of those players. We have good individual players. I think the system is still being figured out. So at times we're very pragmatic. I mean, the ball is super direct. It almost looks like we're in a counter-attacking team. But if you're a counter-attacking team, you have to be very efficient with your chances and your opportunities. And we're not that, right? In the first 5 weeks of this season, we're missing so much in terms of that cutting pass, that final touch. Mm-hmm. It's always missing. Like, you can see the build-up play, the ideas are there. We lack the execution. And actually, if you go back and you watch, I would say not even the attacking third in our build-up play, if you go watch the first 5 to 15 minutes of that game against LAFC, I mean, Harry, you're right. It summed up how we've dealt with opponents and kind of who we are this season. We get rattled even the slightest bit, and we can't make simple passes work. The weight of the pass is off. The direction's off by just this much. Mm-hmm. And that's how far we are away, or close, however you want to look at it, from making that jump to be considered a top team in the West. Like, right now, we're 5th. And we probably, if nothing changes, if we don't figure out how to get the best out of these players, we're probably hovering right around there. 4th, maybe, right? Maybe 4th or 5th. And it's like enough to make playoffs. Maybe we do it like last year. We get past Minnesota in that first round, and then someone like Austin FC comes in and knocks us out. It's probably not going to be Austin because they're going through their own soap opera. But like, it's that's how it feels right now as an FC Dallas fan, and we're still waiting for the chemistry to click.
Does FC Dallas have room to bring in,
Pepe
or
Pepe? Bring him back, bro.
He's not coming back.
I mean, it would be amazing, but put yourself in Pepe's shoes. Just really.
Yeah, quickly. I wouldn't come back.
I wouldn't come back either. I mean,
I wouldn't come back.
And for a lot of reasons. I mean, ego is one of them. But like,
not even because it's FC Dallas or nothing like that, but just bigger opportunity.
Yeah. I mean, and at the same time, right? You've already shown that you can at least score in Europe. So, like, from Pepe's perspective, well, I would love to have him back. We all saw what he did against El Salvador after being on for like, I don't even know how many minutes. Really quick impact. I would love to have him here, but it would be kind of a step back for where he is in his career. Now,
what would it do to Fiera though if you brought back Pepe though?
I would love to see Ferreira take on 10.
move him down.
I would run a 4-2-3-1 the way that we are, but I would move him down. So the way that we set up against LAFC, the only reason we have O'Brien out there is because Paxton wasn't, he's still dealing with a small nagging injury. I think Paxton's crucial for us moving forward. That the combination of him and Cerrillo, we build up really well with them. I would move O'Brien off. I'd put, Ferreira in that 10 role, Velasco out wide, and ideally you have someone like Pepe who could just easily finish. But that's not going to happen. So we have Jimenez for that reason. I mean, he wasn't the most prolific goal scorer at Toronto, but I do think that he offers something a little bit different than Ferreira. I think he's a true, 9. But with that said, he doesn't defensively press the same way. He doesn't give you the same energy. He doesn't have the same flair on the ball. He probably holds up play better. But I don't know if that's like, I don't know if we should give this team a little bit of time or try to correct it right now. I mean, we're 2-1-2. We have 7 goals. I would almost argue that defensively we need to figure things out a little bit better. We have 6 goals against us. Thankfully, we're playing Portland this weekend, and they're one of the few teams that's like way worse, but defensively anyway. But like, I don't know. It's difficult to put my finger on where I think positionally we should improve. I feel like it's a collective mindset right now. We need to prove in multiple areas across the board to make the jump. Like I said, we could be mid or mediocre the whole way through, and that's fine. A series of back and forth matches. I mean, we've had to come from behind the last 2 in a row.
Typical FC Dallas. Typical.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, I don't know if that's coaching or not. That's another thing too. Is I don't know if it's coaching. I think we have great players.
Nah, I think Nico wants to be good. Like,
But is he?
It's just
is he though? That's the thing, right? It's like, is he? And for a team with the ambitions that
but
FC Dallas
is it the culture though? And I'll give Austin props for it is. You go to Austin, it's a rabid environment.
Yeah.
Dallas, they're better than Houston. And sorry, Sam, I know you popped on.
Hey, so yeah, Sam, Jose, Sam, welcome to the show, Sam.
Sam, welcome.
So, but to me, there's just something that's off with Dallas. And it's just the entire environment. Like the fan base is there. It's like they're just waiting for something to click. And it seems like they've been waiting for what about a year or 2 years? This would be the second year when the Hunt started really investing money.
Yeah.
But it hasn't clicked for them. And for Austin FC, like I said, since they've started, you got to give them credit. It's a great environment to go to Q2. Along those lines, even as a San Antonio fan, you got to give it credit to them. But to me, for Dallas, it's I wonder if it's just a cultural type of thing where they're just, it's like you said, it's like they're waiting for something to happen, but what when and how when that will be, that's the question.
Yeah, 100%. No, I agree. And look, the cultural thing's a really interesting point, right? Because you almost look at like Dallas sports as a whole, and there's that same somewhat complaint across multiple.
With the Mavericks.
Mavericks are like that.
Stars. Well, Stars are a little bit more because they've won a little bit.
But Rangers, right? We've been a 2 World Series in the last whatever years, and outside of those years, a lot. Even our own, Josh Hamilton said it himself, not a baseball town, right, or whatever the case may be. So, you look at Dallas sports across the whole, and even when the Cowboys have a game at AT&T Stadium, you can argue sometimes there are more away fans than home fans, and so. It's I don't know if it's a cultural thing with this town and with this city. I do know that everyone's very aware of when you talk about FC Dallas, they're more known for what they produce in terms of players and development than they are for being a winning team and having a winning culture. And of course, I hope that keeps going. But yeah, I mean, I think mentally it probably has some kind of toll. And I think when you have guys like Ferreira who are the leaders, I mean, he's been ingrained into this city because his dad was an icon for FC Dallas for so long, back in the 20, late 2000s, early 2010s. So, like maybe it's just this feeling like, hey, as long as we're competitive in the West, we're good. As long as we make playoffs consistently, we're good. The money will roll in. People will always point to the fact that, we're in Frisco. That's why we're not tapping into Dallas's proper fan base. I mean, at the end of the day, all of the franchises suffer from this. And I don't know if you can point to any one ththing. But I do know
we're
that
not talking Frisco 10 years ago. If you go around Frisco now, Frisco's filled in. It's, 10 years ago, I think maybe you can make that argument. I don't know if you could really make that argument today.
No, definitely not. And so that's what I'm saying. I think people lean on the same arguments. But for me, all I know is we have a hotbed of decently good young talent or talent in their prime. Got to make the most of it. Because these guys are going to go. We're going to do what we always do. We're going to farm them off to somebody else. That's fine. It's a business. I get it, but we gotta try to make some things work while we have them.
All right. Well, Sam, you there, man? Or no? Sam, I am.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. How you doing, bro? Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing good.
All right, we're gonna get into some Houston Dynamo. Let us know how it was beating Was that
The snooze fest, the snooze
snooze
fest of a
fest?
game, dude. This was a rough game to watch. I'm not gonna just because I had all three games on Monday morning. I had Austin, Dallas, and Houston. I started them all at the same time, and I was just like, so.
Really? All right,
Even
It
the
was-
penalty
was-
hit the post.
Sam. Was that the same story inside of what is it, Shell Stadium now?
I didn't go.
You didn't go? Oh damn! What happened?
There are a lot of
I
orange
had to
seats
go
this
to
match. I'm just
somewhere
gonna
else.
leave it there.
Yeah, I think part of the
Back to
problem
normal
was
ways.
no, it's not back to normal ways. I know a couple of people who were gonna go, and they were gonna buy the tickets before the match and didn't go because of the SeatGeek thing. But regardless, I think people are more focused on there was all this hype brought up about like there was no advertising for the match after. It was more like they probably could have done more to maybe entice people to keep going, but it seemed like they put all focus on the home opener, but that's fair. Uh, I didn't watch the game. I had to replay it, but I watched and listened to it live. But I mean, first half, I know Ben Olsen said he wanted to come out just ready, like just start off with an explosive start, and I don't think that's
No Ferreira,
really. No, he came in late in the game.
so he still didn't start this match.
Yeah, so that's
He
one of the
didn't come until
questions.
the 84th minute too. So late
Yeah.
game.
Jeez.
But we started with we have Quinones who gets his first start, and then Brooklyn Reigns, the 18-year-old homegrown, also gets a start for Coco Carrasquilla. And so one of the questions is when we saw the lineup was why isn't Cesar Ferreira starting? But obviously we didn't have an answer for that last game. They said it was because it was more defensive. They wanted to play more defensive, and Bear drops back more for defense and does more on the defensive side. But it seems like there's a little more going on there than we know. But
Yeah, for
uh,
sure. Obviously.
yeah, there's been like a couple people been speculating he starts selling all of his houses in Paraguay, so people don't really know what's happening. But especially with the news of another attacker coming in, Thor's not getting playing time. There's just a lot of questions all over the place. But I still think it's too early to worry about anything.
Well, I think Houston looked all right. Just to me, it was tough to watch, especially as a non fan of Houston. I'm sure if you're a Houston Dynamo fan, it was a great game because you guys got a 1-0 win over New York City. And outside of the New England match, Houston's looked pretty decent, especially if you're comparing to last year. But to me, when I was making my cheeky comments, it's just there really wasn't a lot to go on in this game. But it was just one of those games where you kind of sense that both teams were kind of struggling a little bit to do what they want. Now, was that defense or just both teams just having an off night?
Oh, I mean, I know Bassi had an off night. I saw kind of he wasn't able to do a lot off the ball, and I know that Olsen said he had him doing something different, playing more inside than what he's used to, and had Schmidt playing more back than he's used to. And Schmidt is one of our biggest guys when it comes to chances created. Him and Achache are at our top, so maybe that had something to do with it. But when I watched the game, it looked like a game. It felt like we dominated the game, even if the possession numbers say something different. There's probably one chance New York City FC should have scored, but there was probably two other chances. Brooklyn Reigns, and I think it was the 23rd minute. Bassi intercepts a kickoff basically from the goalkeeper, and it just lands to Brooklyn Reigns at the top of the box, and he just has the chance. He has an open net right in front of him, and he just misses. And so that was one of the chances where it just maybe it could have been 1-0 there, and then you had to Baird hit the top right and bottom right post. So it wasn't a match that could have easily been 3-0, but I think it goes back to what you're saying, Harry, that it looked like both teams were struggling to get something together.
Both teams combined for 3 shots on target. That tells you how this game went.
Yeah.
So what's up with Ache Ache? He retired or what? He's retired from the El Tri.
No, he hasn't.
He should.
Nah.
He should.
How many?
What you mean, bro?
How many
Would
goals
you
has
rather Romo
Houston
or Ache
scored?
Ache?
What'd you say?
Would you rather Luis Romo or Ache Ache playing?
Bro, I'd rather have somebody below 30 playing for my selección. If I'm just saying.
I don't know what Coca thinks about that.
I don't know. But Ache ain't it no more, bro, for Mexico. Just saying.
Yeah,
Maybe for
against Austin,
Dynamo.
he still is. Against
Yeah, for
Austin, he still
Dynamo.
is.
Yeah, for Dynamo, you know. But, man. I was wondering what's up with his call-up. I don't think, I think he's done, bro. So,
We'll see.
all right. So, any more Dynamo? Anything else on the Dynamo? Well, who do y'all play this next coming up weekend? Y'all have y'all
San
going
Jose.
home. Y'all going home. Y'all are going home. San Jose. Maybe you should leave those trophies there with them while you're there.
I'll pass.
All right. So, what are your expectations for that match? This what is it? Saturday at 7:30. I honestly
Yes.
I thought everyone was
No,
off this
9:30.
week. Oh, 9:30.
9:30.
Oh yeah, West Coast.
7:30
Yeah,
West Coast, yeah.
Yeah, so there was a lot of. I know we were talking about Sebas Pereira earlier. I think Sebas Pereira, again, like I said last week, should get a start. He has 3 goals in his last 2 matches versus San Jose. He scored twice at the home game and scored once at the away game to kind of bring back a comeback. We scored like 3 minutes later, make it 2-1. It just one of those things is, like I said earlier, is there a problem there and is that going to affect something? But I think if you put Sebas in, you put whoever comes in. I know Franco may or may not be ready because he went to Paraguay because his wife gave birth and it took him longer to get back than expected.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that there's just a lot of questions going to start on the wing. I mean, you still have Bassi, who's probably going to start right wing. He has 2 goals in 2 matches. And so I think you see Sebas Ferreira finally get a start. I think maybe Corey Baird gets moved out to the wing, but that's one of the main questions. Are you going to put in someone who's had success versus a team, or are you just going to stay with what's working? So that's one of the questions. And then the midfield comes into play. The midfield's locked up. The Riusi, they locked up Santi Rodriguez last week, and I think now the question.
What? Okay, go ahead. My bad.
No, I'm just saying each game.
I know.
They did lock him down, man.
I don't know it's comedy. No, I know. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So now this week they're going against Cristian Espinosa, who has 49 chances created in the last 4 games, and then going against Jamiro Montero. So obviously this time it looks like there's going to be more. They have 3 options in midfield that can all punch the dynamo real quick, and we saw, especially with Jeremy Ubiosi at top, that was one of the reasons that the game at home last season was so tight. All 3 of the goals they scored against us came off of mistakes. So I think we can pull out a win, but it's a matter if our defense is still able to, even if they let in a goal or not, it's how they will respond.
Yeah, so currently San Jose sits in 7th place with 7 points. Right below that, 6th place Austin FC, 5th place Dallas with 7. All 3 have 7, and then Houston has 6. So, that could all change this weekend. Y'all could push Austin FC down a little bit, which I'm sure y'all would enjoy, right? Whoever wins that San Jose Houston match, I don't know, man. San Jose, they got Cade Cowell. He's pretty good player, right? So, it's gonna be a good match. We'll see how Houston's defense, I feel like, is pretty locked down this year. So can't beat a good defense, right?
Well,
yeah.
It's the matter of dropping points, which is the problem. Is if our defense plays well, we can't we can't rely on them every night to play well. And even if you do rely on them, you still have to win a game. And the final third isn't still producing how it probably should be or how effective it should be, especially how we saw last game.
Yeah,
Sure.
I was gonna ask Sam. I mean, like, maybe we could run the stats on this. Like, I don't know how many goals Dynamo has scored this season. I think it's maybe 4 or 5, something like that. 4. Okay, Harry's got it. So, how many of those are PKs?
2.
Yeah, the goals need to come.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's one of the main things, and I think maybe you can give them last week off because you have Coco, who's with Achaches in the top 20 of offensive chances created, but there is a question about. I know people were getting mad at Coco because they felt like he's been trying to do too much, or maybe it's just Ben Olsen expects too much out of him, but it feels like those chances he was getting last year aren't like coming the same way, and so we're not having to rely on those wings and wingbacks, and there just hasn't been as much. There hasn't been as much the final passes and final touches haven't been there, but it's the idea, and I think early on that's what matters. But in the next 2 or 3 games, I think if you don't see everything starting to connect, I think there has to be some questions.
For sure, man. Well, good luck to you on your homecoming this weekend. You know.
Well, I
Nah,
think it's
nah.
time that everybody's tuned in for the days of Austin or Young in the Austin.
The days of our lives.
The soap opera that is Austin FC.
Yeah, talking about
And-
goals. You're talking about the goals, man. 6 goals this season for Austin FC. That is so poor. And we've had 7 goals scored against us. I was watching.
This is just MLS, by the way. We're not counting the 3-0 victory down. Loss down in Dominican Republic. You know.
Yeah, we're not. This is an MLS show, Harry. All right, so we're not talking San Antonio FC here either. All right, guy.
Not yet, anyways, right? So let's get the depressing side over here.
So yeah, man. 6th place Austin FC, man. I don't even know where to start, man. I mean, we can't score goals either. Our center back situation with Ring and Lima as center backs, that is crazy. You have no real center backs in the lineup, nowhere. Kip Keller gets demoted to Austin FC 2. I don't care what anybody calls it, but that's a demotion. You know, that's a. Well, I mean, what do you like? Seriously, guys, yes or no?
Yeah, I would. I mean, yeah, I would agree.
It has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see if Austin had depth. If they had quality depth, no injuries, there was no issues. You got Alex freaking Ring, your wannabe DP, as a center back.
Mm-hmm.
It just, and to me, and I say this being a USL guy, loan him out. Don't
Yeah,
put him
with
to Austin
your
FC
take was,
too.
I
Loan
like
him
that.
out to a USL championship team, even if it's just a short-term loan, 3-4 games, get him some minutes, build him some confidence in a league that's going to challenge him. And sorry, Dynamo Dos and Sam, MLS Next Pro is great for the young kids, but to me, you're doing a disservice. You're doing a disservice to him. I'm not an Austin FC fan, but I feel bad for the kid because I don't think the team's doing right for him.
Yeah, well, I mean, he played well. We beat the Dyna Dose on Friday. Yeah, Friday.
That's the moral victory this week.
That's the victory of.
That's our highlight of the season. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
bro,
well,
you guys made Colorado look like they were prime LAFC. I mean, we could probably run off the stats, Harry, couldn't we? I mean, the shots ratio is pretty bad by itself.
Pull it up, Harry. Pull it up for me. Alvaro, he says, man passed his way straight into Austin FC too.
If you like that, yeah.
Kip Keller, I love you, my boy. That's everyone else throwing shade. Nah, I'm funny, man. Seriously, that's unfortunate that happened to you, bro. But hey, bounce back, pick your head up, and bounce back, man. He had a good game. He started that night. He looked happy, bro. He was with the team celebrating, doing things like he would do with the first team. So he wasn't sitting there acting like he was like all better than everybody, which was very humbling to see. Like I love that kind of stuff, man. So shout out to Kit. But yeah, we start this game, man, with Nick Lima and Alex Ring, bro. I don't care what everyone was saying too. Alex Ring to me had a poor game, bro. But let's see. Let me just throw one more up there. They should have kept Kip with the main team and make him gain his swag back, especially since we didn't have any center backs. That's true. I agree with that. I mean, what are we doing now with the no center back options? Tarek, I just don't understand what Wolf is thinking. Why not play them? Like I understand that they messed up and they had mistakes and it is what it is though. I don't see how you make them gain confidence by demoting them and not playing them and just taking them out of the lineup just doesn't make no sense. Go ahead, Harry. I see you're pointing at me.
To me, yeah, they had two big mistakes, as far as for the center backs. But what about Zardes? What about, Rigoni up top?
We'll get into it. We're going to get into it.
They may not be making the glaring mistakes, but they're not helping the team like they're being paid to do. To me.
And I agree 100%.
And I'm not a Wolf out guy yet, but there's a lot of issues with Coach Wolf that last year kind of masked, because year one, I think it was 30% you'd say probably wanted Wolf out after the first year. Conservatively,
I would say a little bit more actually.
Year two, it kind of masked because winning covers everything. But there were still those signs there with the substitutions patterns, with how he rotated lineups and stuff.
Mm-hmm. It was always position for position. It was never, tactic for tactic. Yeah,
I hate to say it, but maybe this bye week is either going to be at the perfect time for Austin FC if there's not locker room issues and they can kind of, pull their head out of the ass and start to work together. But if there is locker room issues, having this week off, we're going to find out what Austin FC looks like when they come back from this bye week. It'll be very interesting.
Yeah, it's a good point that you bring that up. The locker room, I think there's something there going on too. Unlike Sam, I know it's very clear. I'm not going to play dumb and act like it's not. I mean, you got Fagundes sitting on the bench. You got Zardes starting still. It just makes no. You got Will Bruin coming on instead of Maxi. Whenever Maxi's a more creative player, coming down. You're talking about. You bring up Rigoni, right? They got Rigoni playing on the right wing, correct? You got John Gallagher on here. You got John Gallagher playing behind him. Okay, so Gallagher is playing essentially right back, right winger. The whole entire game, I sat on the side of like Captain Morgan's side. So, what was that? The east side of the stadium. So I was on the first half. I was watching Rigoni and Gallagher, dude. It was like Gallagher was playing right wing, and Rigoni was playing right back. Almost the entire match, and it's like, what are you doing, Rigoni? Like push up, bro. Like push up. I don't know if I had just been missing it every game, but this game, watching it from that side, it was clear as day, and I don't understand it. And then you see no midfield. You see Driussi being free, right? But whenever he runs free, no one covers his space in the midfield. Like no one. You got Valencia, that's a defensive hold-up player. You got Pereira, that is supposed to be a 6. His mindset is a 6. He has Ring in front of him, right? So Ring is the freed-up player. Pereira is only going to take his run if he sees the space. He doesn't force things, which is a good. You want that from your 6. You want them to be, I can't even think of. yeah, you know, you want them, yeah, to do what their job is to do, but whenever you have no midfield at all, and that's how we were able to create so many goals last season. We would pull in the center backs, we would go out wide, and we would just cut, you know, put a low cross into the middle again, and you would be even if it wasn't a striker, it would be somebody there crashing in. Most of the time, Driussi, right? Driussi cleaning up his pass that he just put out, but you're not seeing that at all this season, and it's I don't get it. There's something. This system is failing right now, and Wolf is not adjusting, and we're not playing the players that can really get this system down. I like the Finlay, I like the Maxi, I like the Fagundes, I like the Driussi. Like, why not put a lineup from last season? I don't even know if we've seen that lineup. We've tried to force Rigoni into this lineup, and Rigoni's just not the guy for this system right now. It's not working out. He needs to be benched. It's frustrating, bro. It is extremely frustrating right now in Austin. The tie feels like a loss. Any tie right now, especially at Q2, playing last place, even the supporter section didn't sound as loud. And somebody made that comment on We Are Austin.
Well,
I was there.
On TV they sounded
yeah, well,
good.
I was there. I was there. There was points where I was like it sounds quiet, and you can see flags not waving sometimes. Like you see the likes of like LAFC with the 3252, and that place like is like, I don't know, bro. Like, I'm not even trying to talk down on my section, because that's part of me too. You know what I mean? But we definitely do got to step that up too. Like, but anyways, back to the field, right? Rigoni, bench. You got to hit the bench. Fagundes, why? Why is he on the bench? I don't see how he's not fit. I mean,
isn't he the one that coach was like, well, we gave him money because we
fourth highest paid player, one of the fourth.
We
fourth
felt bad, basically, or he did well, or
he did it out of goodwill.
Not giving him credit, but
yeah, they did it out of goodwill. They gave him
goodwill,
new contract out of goodwill. See, look,
that's weird.
Alvaro, look, I saw Alvaro. I saw me and this dude went to high school together. Shout out, appreciate you always, showing love. But he was, a section over for me. I was 131, and it didn't sound the same, bro. But that midfield, bro, is like non-existent right now. It's not there, man. And I feel like if the
reason why it's not there is because they're having to cover so much in the back. We know why it's not there. When you don't have any center back, no confidence, in the middle of the defense, you can't open up the gap.
But what I'm saying
is how
that,
much that they did against Colorado.
Look, Harry, I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is that there's not even a body in the midfield to receive a pass to even get out of. Like, if you're on the right side, that's it. You got to get out of pressure on the right side. Mm-hmm. There's no going to the middle like right now.
I feel like they lack the understanding of the system they're running, right? Don't you feel like that when you watch them play? Like, I see it a lot with the center backs, but the center backs have their own issues kind of going on right now. But don't you feel like when I watch Rigoni play, you mentioned earlier, RB, that he drops back too much. And I think part of the system when they break out into a counter is that if the wing back is past him, that he has to kind of come back and cover space.
No, but it's not even. These were build-up plays. Like, these weren't even counters or nothing. Like, this was every single play. Like, and then Driussi and Rigoni. I saw Driussi a few times, like telling Rigoni, like dude, like, you're pretty much in my position where you're my space. Like, you like they were bumping heads. Like, it's just not clicking right now.
They look lost in the system, bro. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what it is. I don't know if Wolf should go back to tactics from last season, because with a minimal forward line, like you would argue this forward line that you have prior to the season starting, miles ahead of what you guys had last season, and in terms of finishing ability, and not only are the individual playmakers just not there, like Zardes, I've never been high on him. I've never rated him that highly. I mean, even when he was with Columbus, U.S. men's national team, you name it, I've never really thought that highly of Zardes. I think he was a good athlete. I just didn't think he was a clinical finisher.
He's lucky.
Yeah. It's just he works really hard, right? Like, even back to like the Klinsmann era days, like I just never thought he was like he wasn't a striker that instilled a lot of confidence. But past
Mhm.
past the fact that other guys, Rigoni can't even hit a shot on target or like whatever the case may be, can't get into positions right. The team just feels like they don't know what they're supposed to do situationally. When the ball is somewhere, it's like they're trying to guess what the coach wants them to do because they don't know where to be. They don't know, okay, in this situation, I know I have to be here or I have to play the ball here or look for this guy. It's like they're trying to make it up as they go along. And I don't know, bro. I mean, I saw this, the stats as kind of Harry's pulling them up, making Colorado look like I said before, prime LAFC, twice as many shots as you guys had, more than twice as many
17
on
to
target.
8, 8
17.
on target.
It's crazy. Like
3.
Colorado should have won. The Rapids should have won. They actually
Stuver.
should be upset that they lost.
Stuver saved our ass, bro. He if it wasn't for Stuver, this game could have been 4-1, 5-1, dude. Like easily. And then Redes, bro. Redes could have won the game for us in like the 80-something minute. Like he is so ass, dude. Like, man, gosh.
Dude, he plays once every 10, 15 years, and then you get on his ass. Come on, man. But here's a question for you. On this bye week, what do you want to see from Austin FC?
I mean, what?
Your reaction says everything, my friend.
I don't know. I want to see
too many places to start. You can't solve all the problems at once.
Yeah, I want to see Alexander, the new center back. I would love to see him in one of the hype videos. I would love to see him, or get word that he's gonna be at the Fairmont or whatever, like ASAP. That's number one.
But they're
Number
not talking
two-
about him till April-ish, right? I think, right?
And we only got him until the end of June.
End of
Something
June,
like that.
and they're talking about end of April for him to come through after he clears
And
paperwork,
that's
right?
whenever Cascante is supposed to be back, and then we got to get him into game shape. So, dude, I mean, this break is just giving us another little bit more, time to just cover up what's going on here, man. The center back situation is bad, right? Then we need like Alvaro says, Zardes, Rigoni on the bench. Agree, you got to do that for a game or two. Light a fire under their butts, because these aren't kids, man. These aren't youngsters. That's what you got to do. And I saw on Top Flight they were talking about like what do? You do rotate them. You put the next player that's in line and bench your Zardes. You bench your Will Bruin, or you bench your Maxi. You don't have a favorite. You play who is playing well, and you bench. To me, you bench the guy that isn't playing well, who isn't performing. And Zardes, as many opportunities as he's had in front of Cole to just put something on it. That's all he has to do is just put a toenail on the damn thing, and can't even do that, bro.
He must train really well, bro. He really he must train better than most forwards, because this is not the first coach that has put him in like this and really showed loyalty to him. I don't know. He must turn up in training every week, bro.
Well, he has size, He has the way he talks to people, I think it has a lot to do with that. And then him and Josh Wolf have a relationship. So
who you guys get after the break, right?
LAFC is next week. Yeah, away. Yeah, at the bank. So
then you get Vancouver, then you go back to LA and face the Galaxy.
Yeah,
and Vancouver's no slouch either. I mean, they gave Dallas a run, and so I don't know, man. I personally, if we had to talk about just going around table like what we think Austin needs to change, I think it's more than personnel. I think a mentality has to shift. I think it has to come from the old guard of last season. I think that they know what it means to play in front of that crowd, what it means to get that crowd excited for games. To play for the badge. Truly, these new guys, while they may be technically more talented on paper or whatever the case may be, you gotta get the ROI on them, right? You paid a certain price tag for these guys. I don't care. Like something has to change, and obviously you rotate personnel, but I'm thinking it's deeper than that. I think certain guys don't know what the hell they're doing on the pitch. They don't know what they're supposed to be doing. They're trying to guess.
Well, it's an organization issue as well, because you still got Reyna technically there, right?
Yeah.
This would be a good time to make that decision saying, okay, hey, you've got. I think most everybody agrees he's got to go.
Yeah.
Just get something positive. Get something positive for Austin FC, saying, okay, and having him there, having that still there, it's like a dark cloud that's just over the franchise right now. I hate to say it, but and to me that at least changes something. Is he the one that's bringing in all the players as well? Which, from my understanding, he's a huge part of that. And how many of these players have you complained about that's coming in that hasn't really produced? Your DPs or your young, they're called, that's supposed to be splashes. You've really only hit on one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, exactly. So
the draft you've done well. The draft, Austin FC's killed, but as far as like DPs and along those lines, but
CJ
to me,
Fodre.
To me, that's an easy one to kind of. That's a softball, At least it changes the dynamic, at least on a franchise level, where maybe you can get rid of that dark cloud of the rain cloud that's still hovers.
And these bye weeks are for that, right? Like this is the time, right? Just like when you think about other club soccer internationally, the international break is when changes like this happen. I think that this is the time you take a little bit of a break, reset legitimately, and start thinking about some higher level macro changes that affect the broader org.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So
thanks for the advice, guys. Appreciate it.
So looking at the league,
I knew you guys
I'm
were
sure
fans.
Everybody had St. Louis FC.
St. Louis, bro. God, you cannot overlook that shit right there. Like,
but talk about honeymoon period. Talk about honeymoon period, though. I mean, yes, the stats are crazy, but like, this is honestly, is this not one of the hottest starts, like maybe probably ever, right? Like, how sustainable is this?
Dude, I mean, they could be the Arsenal. They could be Arsenal of 04, or was it?
The Invincibles, the first MLS Invincibles. Hell yeah!
Could you imagine?
But I think a lot of people underestimated St. Louis's build. We forget that they had kind of a, the St. Louis FC, or not St. Louis, St. Louis City. Sorry, on USL. Using that MLS Next Pro, they had a lot of these players that came in that built that system with the coaching staff. So they're not like your typical expansion franchise. They have a tough system. It's very defensive oriented. I think you got to consider them a playoff contender. Now, I don't think the playoffs, but I think as far as
you don't think they'll make the
overall
playoffs?
Talent. No, I think they'll make the playoffs at this point. I don't think they'll go far.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're going to hit a losing streak. They've had I think my buddy Stewart from City there.
Hey, they're going to start making these keep doubting us shirts if you keep talking that mess.
Well, we keep passing the damn ball for them to have easy scoring opportunities. So
yeah, that too.
They've had 4 or 5 of them. I think I won almost each game. Just with the pressure that they put, teams have made a mistake, and the Austin FC is being a little bit harsh on Kip. Is I can see if Kip was the only one that did it, but St. Louis has shown they have a habit of pressuring teams to make mistakes, and
you know what probably happened?
It
was probably those aliens from Space Jam. They probably came and took all the superpowers of these soccer players and made them do these bad passes.
That's how down bad Austin FC fans are right now. This is the shit that's coming out, right? It's just like they're legitimately like, all right, this is what we've come to. We're spinning up alien stories. I love it, bro.
Yeah. I wonder if the other players are on their second team now.
But Seattle second, LAF. I'm just moving on, man. LAFC, Mini United, Dallas, Austin, San Jose are the 7 playoffs. Houston's in a play-in with Portland, and then Salt Lake, Vancouver, Galaxy at 12th place with 3 draws, 1 win, scoring. Kansas City, they're that was a horrible pick on my side, thinking they would make the playoffs.
Putting me to sleep, Harry, with your Kansas City pick, dude. You had them in second place, didn't you?
Yeah. Something like well, yeah. I was just like, oh crap! I'm gonna ride with them. And then Colorado, 8 goals allowed, but only 1 to Austin, and 2 goals allowed. So thank you for letting the Rapids pick up their second point and their second goal for that here. But out west, everything's kind of jumbled.
I'm more scared of Seattle than St. Louis.
Oh yeah, LAFC, yeah.
Yeah, I'm more scared of Seattle and LAFC than I am St. Louis. I think St. Louis will hit a point where they got to figure it out. This is like very much the honeymoon phase. Jordan Morris is finally becoming something, which is interesting.
But the thing for City, they've already got an 8-point gap on Dallas and Austin.
Yeah. So
they could lose 3 games and still be above you, depending on how your guys' results go. So
yeah,
that's the thing for St. Louis City is they've built a gap now.
Yeah,
so
that gap cushions. Yeah, that gap. Yeah, that's
the thing you got to worry about with them is if they hit a streak, how long? Number one, how long is that streak? And number two, right now, Dallas hasn't shown that they can be consistent. Austin sure as hell hasn't shown that they can be consistent. And Houston, while they're better, still are, to me, a step or two below Dallas and Austin, talking about the Texas teams. Yeah,
I think just to kind of, bring another point to that, I think Dallas has the highest ceiling right now. I think with the new...
Without question.
Yeah, with the new players that we have on the roster and trying to figure out, I think once this team kind of figures out how to get certain things done, we'll be an interesting team. I'm not going to say we're going to be a devastating team because I don't really know. I think on paper, Austin should have been that this season, and they're not. They're miles below it.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't say miles.
You're miles below it, bro. You got eliminated by basically. You got eliminated. You got capped by basically a CCL or a semi-pro CCL team, bro. We're not going to talk about that right now. But
yeah, but that's not miles. So
that's miles compared to what you guys were last season.
I would say feet. But
and going back to St. Louis, I think back to like LAFC last season, the gap they had, and like how quickly that gap closed, right? And of course, they were moving players out. They were bringing players in. Cherundolo had to figure out how to get that done. I just think there's going to be a time midway through the year, maybe closer to the summer, where the Texas teams can start to bridge that gap and close the gap on the top 2 teams. But I cannot do nothing but commend St. Louis because they've started in the most epic way possible.
Yeah, for sure. For sure, man. Sheesh. All right, man. Well, I'm done with Austin FC. We got a bye week this week, so thank God. We got Austin FC 2, but we'll I would say 1 mile.
Even your buddy said I would say 1 mile.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
He's got a high bar for your team. You guys aren't meeting it right now, bro.
Yeah, shit, same, bro. We're all upset over here in Austin. This we got to hold the standards high, but let's get into some USL. You know what I'm saying? That Harry talk, that RGV. We'll start some RGV.
We'll start out with RGV. 3 home matches, 3 points, 3-1-1. I know Edson went down in the Valley. Tomorrow night will be an interesting show to see.
That's a pretty good name for a podcast, Down the Valley.
Yeah, Edson's done a pretty good job. Edson and Jacob, they do a great job for that here covering the Toros. Really the only ones that do outside of Ray and South Texas Border Sports. But RGV, they don't, there's just something about them this year where, just something's off. They aren't gelling. They're running thin on injuries like San Antonio. For that, they don't have a lot of depth. They are playing tough teams, but to only get 3 points at home out of 3 games has to be a worrying sign for that here. moving out west to West Texas. El Paso got their first W.
Paso, EPL.
In a shocking way, because Louisville City, prior to this match, was undefeated. El Paso was 0-3, and Louisville played San Antonio in the USL Championship last year. They're one of the elites of USL, and El Paso dominated this match.
Well, it goes to show that you beat a nobody last year for the championship. So, how does that feel? How does that feel?
Well, we beat Austin FC too, but they're nobody as well, as we can see. So,
they were there, RB. They were there.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, it's an MLS club, but all right, bro. My bad. But all right, so look, no, but honestly, that is a shock, though. Louisville going down.
It's a huge shocker.
Yeah,
nobody
had
a shock. Nobody had El Paso going there. I had concerns because after this, they play Friday night in Tulsa, and then they play in Open Cup next Tuesday, right? The 4th is next Tuesday, I think so. Next Tuesday, Wednesday in Omaha. So, I made the comment to Seriously Loco, who covers them, and was. Hey, this could be a long year to start 0-4, 0-5. But no, they got the W. Looks convincing.
Yeah.
Yuma is got his 100th appearance for the team. So for El Paso, it's a good win for that here. For San Antonio, it's a good win because San Antonio will win as well over Colorado Springs in a rematch of the Western Conference Finals for USL Championship. A late goal by Moabu in the 83rd minute, and the game ended on a PK save. They called a PK 95th minute. And
Jordan Farr,
I still don't understand why an MLS team hasn't picked him up. I don't understand that.
I don't either.
Hey, as a San Antonio fan.
Yeah.
But
he probably make better passes than Martin Paz, so.
Okay, all right, bro. You talking about the guy who saved back-to-back penalties against Sporting Kansas City 2 weeks ago?
No, I said passes. I didn't say anything about saving.
Okay. All right. I was about to say, bro, we're not having that conversation.
Nah. Paz is good keeper. He's a good keeper.
Yeah.
So you guys got Monterrey Bay this weekend?
Monterey Bay, 9 o'clock?
9 p.m.
For that here. So you can't move the clicker to the USL one, buddy?
Who?
Come on, man. You.
What do you mean? Oh, I see.
Yeah, I did, equal opportunity show here. We did the Dynamo one and, up there first since, they were the best team this week.
Hey, it's all right. MLS. Hey, we snooze, we lose. It's all right. It happens.
So,
it happens.
But no.
You should have had your cat in the back do it.
Mr. Snuggles, he's talking shit to you, man.
All right, man. So, you got anything else, Harry, from USL?
Yeah, we're in first place. Nobody else can say that, right? Out of any of us? No. We got 7 points. First place.
We're the best team. That counts for
anything.
You're
in second place, buddy.
Look at this. USL standings. San Antonio, number 1.
Oh, no, man. Look at that. Can you see that? No.
No, but you can see the USL.
It shows you second place. Here. I don't know, bro.
I'm going by the official league schedule, my friend.
Okay.
Now in 2 weeks, Sacramento comes to town, so
that'll be good. Yeah,
it'll be a red out. So San Antonio FC is wearing the red home kit, a red kit there for home, so they're calling a red out. For first, second place, tied for first, however you want to do it, 7 points. San Diego Loyal lost to Sacramento this week at 6 points. Monterey Bay is 1 win, 1 draw. They're in 4th. Switchbacks in 5th. New Mexico United still only played 1 game. They're with 3 points. El Paso went from last place to 7th place with 3 points, and then rounding out the playoff there would be RGV with 3 points with 3 draws. So still very, very early. Week four for USL. So that still early, still lots of work to do. Open Cup starts next week. I know San Antonio has Club de Lune from Niza, who nobody knows about. They kick off, though, Friday night against LA Force, who, if you check out their website, has no players listed.
Wow.
No way to buy tickets. That's Niza. So
Well,
I'll give MLS Next Plus or Next Pro credit. At least you can find a roster list of the rosters. You can find a way to buy tickets with Niza. Their schedule before MLS Next Pro, but for some teams, tickets, you don't know if they got a roster or not. So
yeah. Well, good luck. Good luck. Hopefully, y'all can win that one.
Get through to the MLS Next Pro. Did you guys see iStone from North Texas SC make that game-winning save, the PK save against LAFC2?
I didn't see that.
No, man, it was awesome.
You got to tag us in that kind of stuff, man.
16-year-old keeper makes the game-winning PK save against LAFC2. Do what our first team couldn't do. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you want from your young?
Did you guys check out any of the MLS Next Pro on Apple Plus?
A little bit, yeah. I watched a little bit.
I watched Austin, Houston on it.
It's a lot compared to last year. It's night and day. Now, I still don't understand why all the games aren't on there, and I saw some were on YouTube for that here. So, and the ones on YouTube didn't seem to be as nice for that here. I'll have to you'll gauge that a little bit. Not that I'm watching every MLS Next Plus Next Pro game by any means.
Yeah.
But to me,
plenty of them.
Compared to last year, if you wanted to go and watch it, at least there's an avenue to be able to do so without watching it live. Because I think last year the only way you could watch it was off of the MLS, Next Pro website. So they have, I'll give MLS credit. They have done a lot of credit here. So one final question here for you guys, and both of you. If Messi comes to the United States, there's the report that teams will have to all pitch in to cover that.
Bro, send his ass back to Barcelona.
Okay, bro. That's RB's. Your ball knowledge ticker's going way down, brother. Okay, look.
You really you want him to have a game with each team for the season or what?
It won't be with each team. No,
bro. You got to think about it from a business
That's the only way it's going to work, dude.
Man, look. You got to remember.
Go for it.
How much is each team going to benefit from someone that big being in the league? I'll play devil's advocate here. I don't think it's a good move, but I remember when Clint Dempsey moved to the MLS in 2009 and the league paid for it, right? It wasn't every team chipping in to bring him here, but the league paid for it because they understood that having the biggest name in U.S. soccer playing on, in MLS and on American soil at that time was just going to take MLS to the next level. And every team benefits from having Clint Dempsey line up against them. Every team benefits from it. I don't know who gets Messi in that raffle, right? Probably Inter Miami. But if every team had to chip in, there's some real business to be had. You think about how much you could charge at a premium for Messi coming to your town and playing, bro. I mean, I think we've all seen the videos of him just trying to have a meal in Argentina. The guy's literally mauled by people. I can only imagine if you got a chance to visit every stadium, every town in this country for an MLS season. I mean, it'd be mad.
Not that you'd do this, RB, but I bet you would be able to sell your tickets to cover your price of tickets if Messi came. That I understand is from there. I just think because I know Dempsey is a great point that was brought up, but that was 10 years ago. To me, the league is in a much better position, and you would hope that it's in a much better position to where the league doesn't have to necessarily cover it. I understand it's a single entity, and technically MLS pays for all the salaries to begin with. But if you're trying to be, a top 4, top 5, top 6, top 7 league in the world, to me, it's a bad look. But
that's fair.
From MLS's perspective, there's San Antonio fans that have swore they'll never step into Q2 Stadium. But if Messi comes, they would seriously think about doing that just because it's Messi. And I think that says everything.
Yeah, I mean, from the business and money standpoint, I get it, yes. But like Harry said, too, to grow it and all that, for a year or two, you know, and then once, you know, the buzz of Messi goes away, then it's kind of just back to it, you know, like you watch some of these MLS games and they're nowhere near what, you know, just because Messi's playing for the club doesn't mean that the caliber of soccer is all of a sudden going to be so much better and people are just going to be so attracted to it. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know, bro.
Well,
But at a
we've
minimum,
seen Hector Herrera in Houston. It spiced them up for a little bit, and you could argue he's probably their best player so far year to date.
he has created a lot of opportunities for Houston. I will say that. Like he actually, even at his age, he's like stepping up. But you don't think that like for a year or two, if Messi was here, you don't think that people who have never once set eye on MLS would notice and start watching and even just check it out?
Yeah, possible.
Yeah. That's what I think, right? Is like, how many fresh eyes do we get on this league? It's the same reason we did the Apple TV deal. I think if we did the Apple
it would
TV
be a lot.
deal,
It'd be a lot of fresh eyes for sure.
Yeah, we should be
it's
open
not only
to
that, the media coverage that comes with Messi gets amplified even because. And part of the reason why
now that's different now too. Now if you have different medias and outlets and all that, then yes, you know, that's starting to grow the actual MLS. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just Messi. So like there
would have to be a plan, but yes.
Yeah.
But the caveat to that is MLS has to loosen its control of who can gain access to the games. And Jose's probably knows a lot more of this than I do. There's been a crackdown on independent journalists, you can say. I don't consider myself a journalist, even though we do a podcast and, you know, on San Antonio and the high schools and stuff here. To me though, but like we are Austin. You know, I've heard Houston's cutting down on giving media outlets to shows like that just because it's not quote unquote the traditional journalist. That's my fear with MLS, is that at this time they're not as progressive as they need to be on getting their stories out. They still want to control the narrative, which, you know, hopefully that changes. But, you know, with MLS, you know, they're not quick on change. That helps them out, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see if we get Messi here in the MLS. We're running pretty long, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. Appreciate you, Jose, for coming on. If you want to go check out any kind of footy content, go check them out, Golz.tv. So check them out, man. I'll put it up here real quick. Golz.tv. Boom. And then you can get a free couple days, right? 7 days. You sign up, get it free for 7 days, and then it's nowhere near where you're gonna.
Actually, bro, if you guys, you know, anybody checks it out at any point, I would say probably for the remainder of the year is probably the only time in history of this, you know, this very young company where it's going to be free for a long period of time. We're still testing it. We got to get the app out there. Got to get feedback. Can't do it if it's behind a paywall. So it's going to be free for a little while. I would say jump on it, consume as much content as you can, give us feedback. I would love to hear from any footy fan who checks it out.
There you go, man. So let's see. We got one. Oh, there you go. One last comment. Now y'all rest easy. Appreciate you, Alvaro, for staying up with us.
Dude, he's got some guns too, dude, on his picture, dude.
Yeah, dude. So go catch us on Instagram, Texas Ring of Fire, on Twitter, Texas Ring of Fire. Come banter with us. I think guys are gonna start seeing a lot of Jose with us, covering some FC Dallas. We appreciate you doing that. And I'm your host, man, RB22. That's Harry out of San Antonio. We got Jose for Golz.tv.
Out of Dallas, man.
A la Madrid, nada más.
I don't know about that one.
Stay better than my friends. Y'all rate, review, subscribe. Give us a follow. Give us a like. Appreciate y'all, man.